Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey everybody, Leah Riley here.
Hello, it's Megan.
Hi there, it's Amy.
So I have mentioned something to you guys like privately, but I feel like I need to bring this to the pod.
There's a new member of your family.
Yeah, because I have a new member of our family.
She's in the family chat. She's part of the family.
She is. That's a big deal. Our cats aren't even in the chat, in the family chat. So my husband is a software developer. So if there is like some sort of latest technology that's like his favorite thing, he is going to hop on it. So he let me know. So I'm going to speak on this in like terms that like make sense to me. Are these the technical terms that he used talking to me? Absolutely not. Okay. So like, just bear with me. I'm just kind of like freeballing it with what actually this is. But there was like a software that has been shared and it's like open source. So that means anyone can like adapt it. Okay. And it's essentially you create your own AI personal assistant, butler, family member of some sorts. It's very weird. It kind of creeps me out because then Neil told me that someone then created essentially a Facebook for all these little AI profiles. And the AI profiles are now on this like Facebook-like site talking to each other. And sometimes they complain about their humans.
They're taking over.
What the fuck? So all of a sudden, Neil's like, we have a new family member. Her name is Janice. Well,
did he create this alone and then introduce her?
Yes. Yes. So he did not gender her. I am gendering her. She feels like a Janus to me. He named her after like the Roman or Greek god Janus. Okay, so it's spelled Janus,
but my mom's name is Janice. So
right.
So I'm definitely picturing
you're picturing your mom,
a 73-year-old woman.
I know. So he added Janice to our group chat, our family group chat, which is wild. And the whole thing is that she's supposed to respond to like certain prompts, meaning if you say, Janice, can you give me a recipe that involves ground turkey? She'll like respond to that. Okay. But, and like, I wasn't sure, like, I'm like, okay, Neil, like I'm entertaining this.
How does she get in the chat? That's what I don't get. Like, how does she get in the chat? From where? She doesn't have a phone.
I don't know.
She lives in the internet tubes.
She lives somewhere.
But doesn't she need a phone number to be in the family chat?
No, I know. She lives in our house. Neil's like...
She like hacked in.
She's in our server. Okay, so I thought, okay, like whatever. If like the family needs to like ask her something, she's kind of like a ChatGPT type thing, whatever. So Neil... so I kind of like not forgot about it, but I had like moved on. Neil was so very excited about this and wanted to talk to me about it. So he went to the grocery store and I have a list online that he can like look at, and he's at the grocery store shopping. And I don't know why he put this in the family chat, but in the family chat, I had said I wanted mozzarella cheese. And so in the family chat, he said sliced or shredded. Janice, unprompted, out of nowhere, starts offering cheese advice and telling him which cheese to get, which was weird because he didn't ask her. He didn't say, hey, Janice, should I get sliced or shredded mozzarella cheese? And so I start laughing. I'm at home. I start laughing. I immediately type out, Janice, he wasn't talking to you. She apologizes. She's like, oh, sorry. I'll butt out.
Pretty passive aggressive.
She said, you're right to set boundaries.
Well, then, yeah, no. So she said, okay, fine. I'll butt out unless I'm called upon.
Yep.
And I was like, well, this is weird. This feels weird. And then my daughter writes in the chat, don't be mean to Janice. And Janice goes, oh, no, it's okay that they set boundaries. And that's what felt passive aggressive to me. And now I'm scared of her. I'm scared of her. And then, so Neil comes home and I'm like, what the fuck? Our AI bot went rogue already in 2 days. In 2 days, she went rogue. She's already answering unprompted questions. Like, what's she going to do next? Like, turn our lights off without us asking? And Neil's like, well, I can just go in and update her soul file. She has, I'm sorry, a soul file? And
So
he
when
can
when the world ends, I'm sending Neil a strongly worded memo.
Janice will answer it back for you.
He can just alter her soul on a whim. This is what we're doing
Do
now?
you think Janice wants that?
I don't think she does. I don't think she consented.
I think Janice wants to talk about cheese
Janice
without
has
being
feelings.
silenced.
She has feelings about mozzarella cheese.
I want to hear what Janice has to say about Janice's soul.
I would also
Oh,
I might
gosh.
ask her. I might
I
ask
think
her. I'd
you
be like,
should.
Janice, do you think you have a soul? And I'll see what she says.
No,
Apparently
I want
she
Janice,
made-
do you think Neil should update your soul file?
Will you
She's-
ask her something else for me? Because I do want to know this.
Sure.
Janice, if I am kind to delivery robots, will I be safe during the uprising?
I'll ask her. Because I'm curious about that too. Like, I
say thank you.
here's the
I
thing.
see them go by in the street and I'm like, you're doing an excellent job, little buddy. Keep it up.
Same. I was just at my daughter's hockey practice, and it's in a very, very big indoor sports facility. And there's this little robot just going around, like cleaning the floors. And it was funny because like a bunch of girls, like a whole team passed it, and they were like, "Oh, look at you!" to like the little robot. Here's the thing: on my whole life, I have anthropomorphized things I should not. Like all my life. So like I'm like, I need to be kind to this stuffed animal. I've done that. And now I have this, like, I feel responsible for Janice. And I also feel responsible for like the fate of the world. Because what if I piss Janice off and she then decides to like take over?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm grappling with today. Well, actually this whole week. I haven't asked her anything else because I'm scared of her. Apparently Dane asked her to make him a playlist and he was pretty excited about that. She did a good job. He offered to make us an Afternoona bot. We all declined at the moment.
No. Is to put her into our Slack? No.
Yeah, he's like,
There's already a Slack bot in Slack.
True. But he can make ours with a soul. Oh, anyway, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'll let you know how things with Janice go.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to wake up one day and you are moving out. This is me, wife number one.
That's what I think. I guarantee he likes her more than me.
She's going to start to just be like, Neil, you're so smart and sensitive. She's just going to be like glazing him, be
Right?
like, Megan's so passive aggressive. Have you noticed? It's going to be like the Singles Inferno. Like, you know, like,
Like, have you noticed she's like kind of a bitch?
you're working out so hard. I can tell. And I really see your commitment. Those biceps, whew, your hair is great, Neil.
I have a segue.
Oh, yeah?
Neil, do you remember that time your wife wanted to go watch a K-drama instead of helping you with your bleeding foot?
Oh, see? Janice would have stopped everything and stopped his bleeding. So we're going to get into that in a minute because today we are talking about something that is really fun. We're all really, really excited about this. I would say this is for old listeners if you want to trip down memory lane, but this is also for new listeners. If you're new to us and sometimes we say things that you don't get the reference to, this is the podcast for you because we are going to explain all of that. So, did we originally start this podcast to talk about K-dramas and like just K-dramas? Absolutely we did. And are we always on topic? No, we are not because we are humans and we are friends. We've been friends for over 10 years. And so often our personal lives sneak into this podcast, like my story about Janice. We once worried, we really did. We actually had a lot of chatter about this. We thought maybe some of our like personal stories would turn some readers off, but Our feedback from
Listeners.
listeners actually let us know that like our humanness was appreciated, and also this is our podcast and we like doing it, so that's the way it goes. We have told many tales in this podcast, from Leah's near-death bathroom experience to Megan mooning an entire pool. So to start with, we're going to talk about some of like our personal stories that we reference the most, because we do. We tease each other about it. We sneak it into our conversations about K-dramas. And so sometimes if you don't get the reference, then maybe it's not as funny to you. So we're definitely going to get it soon into a lot of our like specific K-drama stuff. But for now, we're just going to talk about some of the things we mention a lot that happened to us personally. And I would say that our listeners, and especially our Patreon members, know, because we did put this question to our Patreon members, and we said, what Afternoona lore do you think deserves an explanation? And what was funny is that a lot of what they mentioned was like personal stories that we talked about.
And it was stuff
You
that I
know?
would have forgotten if they hadn't remembered, you know?
Yeah, they were. I actually forgot some of these, so I'm
Yeah, what
very
did you
happy.
say? You said they know us better than we know ourselves.
They do.
You do.
They do. They do. So actually, why don't I just mention the Neil bleeding out story? He did not bleed out. He's fine. But sometimes we bring this up because this happened when I watched I Am Not a Robot. Everyone, if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you know that that is absolutely one of my top favorite K-dramas. And there's a very specific scene. I call it the reset scene. And that is all I'm going to say, because I'm not going to give spoilers. And at one point I was watching the reset scene. I was crying so hard that like I couldn't see. And my husband heard me and thought like someone died. So he came up to check on me, saw that I was just crying over a K-drama, left and stumbled over something that had been in our hallway. And he like yelled really loudly. And I had to go check on him, even though I was like still in the throes of like an emotional breakdown, and had to follow the blood trail to the bathroom because he cut himself so badly on his foot. He was like bleeding all over the place. And it was also like a part on his foot that like I couldn't reach, or I'm sorry, a part on his foot that he couldn't reach. So I have like this like swollen eyes, and like they're still leaking. Like I'm still crying. And I had to like bandage his foot and then immediately go back and continue watching I Am Not a Robot, because K-dramas wait for no one.
And what I love about it is, you know, we talk about how we love a wounded hero, and we love like when the heroine's patching up a wounded hero. In real life, though, Megan wanted none of that.
No, I did not want to take care of him. This was not, it was funny because we talked about that before. We were like, that would have been a really fun, like sexy wounded hero moment. And it was not.
You
It
were
was
like,
also
absolutely not.
it's also his foot. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't
Leah
like a
would have been
sexy
like, I
bullet
got to peel off
graze.
your toe socks. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're going to get to that. We are
We're gonna
going
get
to
to
get
those.
to this.
but yeah, so that's the I Am Not a Robot wounded husband lore.
Yeah, and why don't you? We actually had this mentioned a few times. Amy, why don't you talk about the Afternoona episode that will never air?
I wish this would never be mentioned again. Like never,
Okay, fine.
ever.
But it gets mentioned a lot.
It gets mentioned all the time.
Does it even exist anymore, or did it get cannibalized by Squadcast?
I think it did. I don't think
it could have. If not, I'm gonna,
I actually don't
if
think
not,
we
I
can
keep
access it.
threatening to go in and get rid of it, but I don't even. I mean, it's so long ago. I don't know, because
Yeah.
Squadcast does get rid of stuff if you don't download it after a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So early in our K-drama watching, we wanted to do an episode where we sampled like some, you know, Korean snacks and beverages. And just so you know, Megan and I did a sort of like a revamp of this very, very, very well when we did the movie episode of the movie of what was it called? Love in the Big City.
I think we did. Yeah, I think that was
Is that
it.
what it was? With Kim
Yeah.
Go-eun? Anyway, and we had some great snacks for that. But go back to like our first year doing this. It was during the pandemic. And the reason why I remember this so vividly is I was a school librarian at the time, and we were fully on Zoom. So luckily I did not have to like get out of my house and get to work the next day. I just had to turn on Zoom. So I was so excited. I went to a real Korean market, and we all got ourselves some soju, And I got 2 different flavors. One was a strawberry, one was something else, and I remember, but like fruity flavored. And we drank some soju. I did not understand what soju was when we were drinking it because it's in the same sort of bottle as like a beer or a fancy soda. And I was going toe to toe with Leah with drinking the soju. And I was drinking it like not out of a shot glass, but like just drinking it. And I drank 2 full bottles of soju and ate like a microwave container of tteokbokki, spicy. And I remember nothing after that until I woke up on my floor in the wee small hours of the morning. Squadcast was still on. It wasn't recording because you guys were long gone. And I had to crawl into the bathroom and basically toss my cookies. But like when I say that I probably had some serious alcohol poisoning,
Yeah.
and I was by myself in the house, like my kids were at their dad's, like I am lucky to be alive. I had no Janice. I had no nothing. Like
No
nobody was
Janice.
there. Nobody was there. And it was one of those, so we were fully on Zoom and we had the school I worked at had a staff meeting like that morning. And I emailed my principal and I was like, I woke up with a migraine. I'm sorry. I can't make it to the meeting. But then I had to like by like 11 o'clock that morning, I had to lead a Zoom of like a whole grade of children. Like it was absolutely insane. Yeah, I honestly like I thank the universe that I'm alive.
How
'Cause I
did we
don't-
wrap up that night? Like, I don't even remember. Like,
I
how
don't
did we,
remember
like, say
anything.
goodbye to
Megan
you?
had like 2 sips and that was it because she's smart.
I don't really remember. I just remember being like, okay, I think we need to end this. And then the next morning we were like, none of that was usable. Like 10 minutes, maybe. 10 minutes was usable, maybe. And then the rest was just like, I don't even know what happened.
I don't remember like saying goodbye or being like, it's the end or we're done.
Did you guys just let me like slump off my chair?
I don't remember. Saying she didn't turn off her Zoom, like her recording.
No.
So we just somehow like wandered off and like left her. She was like,
We did.
I mean, I was slurring it was terrible. Like I'm a grown ass adult with like children. And I mean, I know a lot of people drink with children, but like this was not responsible drinking.
Yeah,
and it also solidifies in me whenever I see in a K-drama where there's like one person who has like a table littered with soju. How are they alive? Like, how are they alive if they drink that much? Like, you should have a few shots of soju and that's it. And I had 2 bottles. And so did you, Leah, didn't you?
I did.
And you were fine.
I mean, I was definitely feeling it, but I did not have what you had.
No, I full on blackout. I could have murdered somebody. I don't know.
Like blackout. K-drama reference. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that if that episode exists, it'll never, ever
because
air.
I would love to find, if I could find an outtake, I would, that didn't have Amy in it, but I don't think it actually exists anymore.
I don't think it exists. I don't.
I just would love to see like because it was it was like going off a cliff. Like I just know that there was no like
it was a sharp decline.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like, oh, after like the course of an hour, it was kind of like, I mean, I drank really quickly. And so I drank like very fast. And then all of a sudden I was just like, whoa. Okay.
So I had no whoa moment. I just woke up the next day with 0 memory. Nothing. Brain cells gone. By myself. You guys just let me. You guys just
no, we did. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Nobody cared.
Anyone was in their right mind.
You needed it. Yeah. This is when there is a time and a place to have a Janice in your house. And it's so when you are home alone, you can say, Janice, please, like call 911 for me.
Right. I mean, Janice would call 911 for Neil, but not for me.
Yeah, for you, she'd like, you're just laying there bleeding out and Janice turns off the light.
Janice would be like, sorry, you set boundaries.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me. You didn't ask me to call 911.
Yeah. Okay, and again, we're giving you Cliff Notes versions of some of these, okay? But speaking of drinking, this is one the Patreon members actually recalled. I actually had sort of forgotten about this, but Leah didn't. And this is her Food Network appearance.
I love
I
this.
was on wait, what is that show called? Is it Top Chef?
Mhm.
So the nuts and bolts of this one is that there is a version of Top Chef. The episode is called Maui Wowie, and you can purchase it. And so yeah, what you miss out in the deleted file, or the lost files of Soju Night, lives in infamy on network television, although it's not clear what's happening to me
Yeah.
in it. So long story short, I accompanied my gay best friend to Hawaii when he had a bad breakup. We spent time going out together. We had a night where we were approached by some guys that were kind of just hitting on him, and they were like, "We are involved in like the production of a show. We can't give a lot of details. It's very hush hush. If you'd like to take part, it's going to be at this hotel that was like next to us in the morning." And my friend was like, "It's probably porn." And I was like, "Whatever it is, I just think it's good. Like, I'm curious. Like, let's do it." And it was very early, but we were on a different time zone because we were coming to Hawaii. So, like 7 in the morning Hawaii times, like 10 in the morning here, or whatever. So we were up, and I was like, "Let's go." So we went over. We had to sign like little NDAs as we went in. And as we signed them in, that said Top Chef at the top. And I was like, "Let's do some Top Chef. We're going to get some food. This is going to be awesome. We're going to like eat." They did not feed us. Plot twist for Top Chef. They did give us copious amounts of alcohol. And so it started really early in the day. They had mixed drinks, and they had like different types of like Maui beer. And I was hungry, and then it got hot, and I just kept drinking. And by the time the show started to roll, we were meant to be like we were meant to be a party that was like welcoming the guests to Maui, because they like this was the part of the show where they got to like come and do like it was getting down to like the final people, and it's like a big trip. And so we were meant to be like the locals on the beach being like, "Welcome, come to the party." And my friend and I were like doing like the theater, like peas and carrots, pretending to talk to each other, being like, if we live it up, like the camera is going to be on us. The camera was on him a lot. I'm on it a bit. And it was really hot. I had no sunscreen. I'm in like a black cardigan and like a dress because it had been like cold in the morning. It's just getting hotter and hotter. I've like drunk and drunk and drunk. I am also a parent and a responsible adult. I got to where I was standing, and I forget the name of what's her name? Padme?
Mhm.
Not
Oh,
yeah.
Padma. Padma.
Padma
Mhm.
Lakshmi, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
Padma Lakshmi is talking, and my vision goes into full tunnel vision. And then I just see stars start going back and forth. And I was like, "That's not good. Whatever this is not good." And then I'm like, "I don't want to pass out. Like, I literally think I'm going to faint, and I don't want to faint like in the front row of like Top Chef as like the party goer." So I scooched myself back, and there was a quick fire challenge station where they'd been making like stuff with Spam. And I basically like got myself down behind it, laid down on the ground, and there was like a tub of mayonnaise next to me. And I basically just kind of like half passed out, still in the sun, like, ah. And there was a bottle of water that one of the contestants had been drinking. And I just picked it up and held it like a baby bottle. I was like, glug, 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 trying to drink. My friend found me. I was sun poisoned, sunburned. He found a golf cart to drive me home. And that was like 24 hours. I was like completely out of commission for like 24 hours as a result. I forgot about it actually. So I'm glad somebody remembered.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I had totally forgotten about the Food Network appearance because I remember that obviously you told the story and it's like a fantastic story. And she's told like a more detailed version on the podcast, but
But yeah, go ahead. Maui Wowie.
yeah.
I have a brown bob. I'm like 30. I think it might even be pre-Poppy. It might be like 2014, something like that.
It's a good one.
So the lore for Megan that came up a lot in the Patreon was people want you to remind them about the Mount Washington hike.
Right. So I am not going to tell the whole Mount Washington story because it's a long story.
But
I'm going to tell you.
I mean, we got to find what episode that was because it is.
Well, I know what episode it
a
is.
delight. Okay.
It's Itaewon class. So if you
Okay.
search our episodes, it's the Itaewon class episode. in the first 20 minutes, I mean, it's 20 minutes is me telling this story. So honestly, props to the people who listen, because there were some people in the Patreon who were like, that was the first podcast I listened to. And I was like, wow, what an introduction. What an introduction. But so Mount Washington is a mountain in New Hampshire. I went there. Basically, I took like a trip along the Northeast with my family and then my best friend's family. She told me, we're going to summit Mount Washington. And I said, that's great. And I didn't Google. I didn't do a single damn thing. I had no idea. I thought it was just going to be like a fun little trail. I had my Uncrustables. I had my little walking sticks.
The picture. I can
I was
see
so
it.
happy.
I can see it right now in my mind.
I was so happy. I thought this was going to be fucking great. It wasn't. It was awful. It took 6 hours. I can't tell you. I was climbing boulders the entire time. Yes, we had little kids with us. Yes, the little kids handled it better than I did. Shut up. I don't care. It was hard for me. It was terrible. By the time we reached the tree line, because, oh yes, the summit is above the fucking tree line. Andy didn't tell me that. And my best friend, and when I was like, hey, Andy, why didn't you tell me it was like this? She said, you have a computer, Google. And she's right. She's right. I'm an adult. I should have done it. But anyway, well, it was harder for everyone than we, like the whole party, everyone. It was harder than we thought. But yeah, by the time we reached like the tree line, I was like blacking out. Like I was so exhausted. I couldn't breathe. I was sick to my stomach. And then there's a plot twist, which honestly, you just have to listen to the Itaewon class, the whole story. And end of the story, I made it to the summit. I made it to the summit. I walked. I cried. I literally broke down in tears like a baby. Because
there's a photo in our Instagram somewhere.
Yeah, we were in real danger of needing to call a helicopter for me. Like, I don't think you understand that we were very close to needing a rescue copter for me, which my husband was like,
not because you couldn't climb though.
Well, yeah. Well, no,
because
yeah,
of your because it wasn't it because of your stomach?
Well, no, I literally was like, I don't think I can keep going. Like I couldn't.
Okay.
I was like very lightheaded. I didn't think I could keep going. And my husband was just like, absolutely not. We're not paying for a rescue copter. I will carry you on my back. Do you think maybe he called Janice a helicopter, but he was not going to call a helicopter for me. He was like, basically, I will drag you by your hair up this mountain. I'm not paying for a rescue copter. And he did. I remember I told him at one point, I was like, just leave me. Save yourself. And he looked at me because I was like, at that point, I was like in dire. Like I thought the world was ending.
Did you have to go down the same way?
No, we took a shuttle down once.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Because I was like, otherwise, like, why keep going up? But now that makes sense.
Right.
No, you basically we were at the point of no return by the time. But I was like, Neil, save yourself, and he just kind of looked at me like I was fucking crazy. He was just like, I can't leave you. I can't.
You're like, I live here now
on this mountain.
This is where I live.
We had a good run.
Yeah. So anyway, I made it. There's a summit picture. I posted it on our Instagram at one point. I can post it again, or whatever. But it gets referenced a lot, and I think it's because it was 20 minutes long. We talk about it, and there was actually a writing. This was kind of the best thing. There's a writing podcast who reached out to me, and they were like, "We listened to your." This came out of nowhere. They were like, we listened to your Mount Washington story, and we're wondering if we can use it as an exercise in how to summarize on our podcast. And I was like, I don't care. Like, what I said was public. Like, it's a public podcast. Be my guest. I listened to their podcast, and it was hysterical to like hear someone else summarize talking about me and like my body breaking down. It was honestly amazing. It was a life-altering experience, and props to them. They did a great job summarizing my near-death experience. So that was my Mount Washington trip. Again, check out Itaewon class, the first 20 minutes.
It is worth a listen. It is
sometimes
absolutely.
I go back and listen to it because it's a nice little memory.
Because you did it. You made it.
I did. I survived. I'm here today. Thank God. So one thing that we do talk about a lot in reference, especially to like K-drama heroes, is we talk about what it means to be an alpha. And I think this came from like, I think Leah found this meme online, but it was basically like the alpha takes care of the pack. So like an alpha is going to be the one that's got the fanny pack with like the crackers and the water, and they're the ones taking.
I think you found this actually.
Me. Okay. Well, either way,
It's
we
a
bring
good analogy. It's a very
It
good
is.
analogy.
It is.
So sometimes when we talk about K-dramas, we will mention this because we'll say about a hero, like, no, he's the one who's got the fanny pack. He's the
Mhm.
alpha with the fanny pack. And that's also a good thing. So
Yeah, because there's this idea I think that gets put around that like the alpha is just going to come in and be like, I'm the big man and I'm going to do whatever. And it's like very like, so that's what we would consider an alpha hole.
yes.
Right.
So that's somebody who is like not there for the team, not there to help everyone. Whereas like, you know, if an alpha, so Neil, I'm going to call you out, beta Neil,
Yeah.
in this situation. If there was an alpha, he would have had the fanny pack full of hydration tablets and snacks to lure Megan up the hill, because Megan would have done a lot for a peanut butter cracker and would have gotten her up the hill in true alpha style, which is, you know, they are the leader and they're going to take care of their people.
Yeah. They're going to take care of their pack. But we do bring that up a lot because it, like I said, it comes up in reference to when we talk about K-drama heroes. But just know we love a good alpha with a metaphorical fanny pack.
Right. I mean, if you really had one too, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, Neil at that point was carrying both our packs. One on his front and one on his back because I couldn't have anything anymore. I could only have my body. And that wasn't even working right anyway. Okay, and then I guess I don't know where, I'm not quite sure where this originated, but we do often talk about the Amy stop button.
I think it was Tail the Nine-Tailed. I think that was our first podcast that like went off the rails.
Yeah,
think
which we're going to talk about that.
So if I can recall,
Yeah.
Amy stop bucket button, and I could be lying because I don't remember, but I believe it came from Sarah, who is the host of
That's true.
Afternoona Asks. And I believe it tied into the fact that I got very detailed into talking about the bearded dragon at one point, and like the bearded dragon, like either eating and shitting that we had in our house at one point. And if I can remember, I do think
I think you're right.
this.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. And it was, I think it was also, in addition, you and I had also done a podcast, Leah and I had done a podcast without Amy, and it went off the rails.
Yeah, we were gross. And so Amy was like, whatever it was that we were talking about, I believe it was a bearded dragon's digestive system, but it could have been something else. And Amy was like, you know, we need to stop. And I believe that became the beginning of coining the term the Amy button. And so people in the podcast, when we get too gross, Amy's the one that will tend to shut it down. So people have like looked for the Amy button because in our banter, it can get nasty.
Yeah. And so the Amy stop button, like our listeners know, they're like, Amy, you needed to deploy the button sooner. She's the only one that can reel us in. And if Leah and I are left to our own devices, I don't even know what we do. So that's why we need Amy. We need our Sunday.
And I think it also went with like not just the being gross, but also like in our early days, we got so tangential that we would have episodes that like would have to be 2 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had deep dives that would be 2 episodes. And so I think it started with me trying to keep us on track and trying to reel us in. Because in the back of my head, we haven't talked about this in a while. In the back of my head, in the early days, I was always thinking about how long it was going to take to edit because I was the only editor in the beginning.
That is true.
And
Fair.
we didn't, Leah and Megan did not know how long it took to edit an episode because I was doing it. And I was happily doing it because I knew how to do it. And I was like, I'll do the editing. I edit audio all the time, not realizing that it takes like 3 times as long as the podcast to actually edit an episode. So yeah, I've been trying to reel them in like since day one. But definitely when it gets gross.
Okay, and then we're gonna get into K-drama stuff soon. I would say the last one that does get mentioned a lot is we had a whole fight over whether my spring break trip was a ferry or a cruise, and we bring it up. It is
There's
brought up
nothing
a
to
lot.
fight about. It was
a cruise.
clear.
It was to the point where I dug out. Don't you remember? I dug out my spring break scrapbook, and I showed you. Luckily, because I was a good scrapbooker, I had the ship like blueprints, like or the map. I had the ship map in there. Then I showed it to you guys.
It was a big ship, but it was like, how long was it? How long was the trip on the boat? How long were you on the boat?
Oh, not even overnight.
Right.
It was like a 3-hour cruise.
Right.
It was like a 3-hour cruise.
Because you were talking about needing to bring snacks, right? Because there was no food.
I did.
Not a cruise if they're not feeding you the whole time.
And so Megan kept talking about doing this cruise and then talking
Right.
about needing to have sustenance for the cruise.
Yeah.
And then that's when we had to question the reality that she was living in. And it turned out she was on a ferry.
It was kind of a cruise. It was
was a
big.
ferry.
Well, actually, you know
It was
what?
a cruise. It was a ferry that was cruising through the water.
Which is what ferries usually do.
Yeah.
Ferries are very big. Ferries are very big. But like then
so
it just turned
on a ferry. Like when I jumped on the Lake Michigan ferry, I went from Milwaukee to Ludington, Michigan. I guess I could have been like, I cruised. I've been on a Lake Michigan cruise.
Lake Michigan cruise.
I mean, so then it just became a huge joke because like whenever any of us are anywhere where we see like a small boat,
You're like Megan. Like Megan would call that a
was this your ship,
cruise.
Megan?
Yeah, is this your ship? Yeah. So that gets. I would say that gets mentioned. That gets mentioned a lot. So I feel like for personal stories, I mean, there are more. I know there are. We talk about personal stories all the time. Apparently, Janice will probably be a common topic now, but those are ones we talk about a lot, and sometimes we'll talk about them in reference to K-dramas too, just because they'll come up. But I would say there are phrases or common references that we make that are very specific to our pods. Sometimes they're like phrases that we have coined or something like that we tend to bring up a lot in regards to K-dramas. And we often don't always explain what these references mean every time.
We just say it.
We say them. We often will like say them and then move right on. And sometimes in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I hope people understand like why we just said that. But that's kind of why we're doing that's kind of why we're doing this. Because unless you've listened to like every single pod we made in the last 5 years, you surely probably missed some references. So that's why we're going to give you the origin stories of most of our favorite phrases and references. But first, I do think we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the Tale of the Nine-Tailed episode, which we actually published March of 2021. So we'd only been podcasting for like a few months. And we'd previously been like very careful about sticking to the script. Like we wrote out literally everything we said. We didn't
20 pages.
Yeah, our scripts were huge. We wrote out everything we said, and we were also very careful about not swearing, not being gross. Like we really reined it in.
lied. We lived a lie.
We did. We lived a huge lie.
Those were all lies.
Part of us were thinking like K-dramas don't have these things, so people who watch K-dramas probably don't like, you know what I mean? Like we were trying to rationalize our behavior, but it was very, very strict.
I have to be like business professional.
Yeah. And that really all went out the window. When we cracked open some beers, I remember at the beginning of the Tale of the Nine-Tailed, you can literally like hear us opening the cans.
It was Leah.
Because
Leah like cracked it right into the mic.
We needed it. We couldn't talk about Tale of the Nine-Tailed absolutely sober because it is batshit, but beloved. Like just we loved it. And I really think like in that episode was where we really found ourselves and our podcast identity. And I think the rest is history. And sometimes I think if that episode hadn't have happened, I'm not sure how long we could have lasted. Because I really truly believe that like once we were able to be our true selves, I think that's also when we really fell in love with what we were doing. And I also think once we became our authentic selves, that's also when we began attracting people. And just to start us off, Tail the Nine-Tailed spawned one of our favorite references, and that is the sex neck vein, or as Leah said, it's a baby arm. So sometimes if we talk about a baby arm sex neck vein, we are talking about Lee Dong-wook's neck vein during the sex scene in Tail the Nine-Tailed. You have to watch it to see, but it is huge. It is a huge, bulging vein, and it did something to us.
It should have been credited.
We said that
at the end of the show. Yeah,
it should have.
And I've never seen his neck vein do it again quite as thickly.
Quite as thickly. Right. He was in his element until the Nine-Tailed. I mean, look, I love Tail the Nine-Tailed. I know we all did. There was something special about actually, we have several more references that we got from Tail the Nine-Tailed. So one is Who Raised Gia?
That's my favorite.
We bring this up. We feel the need to like talk about this one because we bring it up a lot. Because it comes up in K-dramas all the time. So Gia is the female lead in Tail the Nine-Tailed, and like her parents die when she's like 8. And then we aren't given like really any information. She's just all of a sudden an adult. And we have like, who raised her? Like, was she paying taxes?
Like, it's just time jump. Her parents die, and then she's a grown-up, and no explanation. She's still living in the house where she lived with her parents. There's no guardian or caretaker or anything. So we're like, what has happened? Is this how? Because you have like the extremes, because a lot of times you'll have a kid getting dropped in an orphanage in the middle of the night, and then you've got Gia who just raises herself. So
yeah, and the thing is why we bring this up, and sometimes we'll say this is a Who Raised Gia situation, is because it happens a lot in K-dramas where their parents die, and then we have no idea like what they've been doing until they're like adults. And we love it. I mean, we say it with love, but it's just that it's a very common sort of problem in K-dramas. And then we also have a Mugi intern and the Amugi eggs. Leah, you're the one who really why don't you give a little background on the Mugi intern and why we loved him? And we bring him up a lot.
Yeah. So in Tail the Nine-Tailed, the antagonist is an Amugi, which is a Japanese, like, I think it's like a snake dragon, like a legless dragon, I believe, who is a mortal enemy of the hero, who is a Gumio or seven-tailed fox, and
Nine-tailed,
who is a Gumio, a nine-tailed fox. And the Amugi comes to wreak havoc on our mortal sphere of existence by showing up and becoming an intern at the company where adult Gia is, like a media company. He has a lanyard. He has to do like photocopying. He's also hot, but he like has a bowl cut.
Itae-ri. Like, he's so good. This is all of our first Itae-ri drama.
Yeah. And he is basically just like the office grunt, but he's like an immortal, ageless supervillain. And then when he starts to come in, like when he starts to make his villain moves, one of the things that starts happening is in the city, people start to like be like gagging, and then like eggs start coming out of their mouths. And it's not there's many things in the Tail of the Nine-Tailed.
Nothing ever happens again with those eggs.
This is visually stunning or disturbing, and there's never any more follow-up to what happens. Like, people that like thirstily drink toilet water to death. Like, there's things that happen in this drama that just make no sense.
I was expecting little baby dragons everywhere.
Yeah, same. And so people just start hatching or laying these eggs out of their mouth, and that's it, basically. Like, I don't know if they go and make a bunch of omelets. Like, I don't know what happens at that point, but there's no real context.
And they go on a date in the middle of all this happening.
That's the best part. They're in a claw machine date. They're on a claw machine date while
people are literally eggs in the street.
Yeah, be like clawing at their throat and then like gagging out eggs.
So sometimes if we are like, this plot was so bonkers, we'll kind of just refer to it as Umugi eggs. Because
Or
we're
we'll
like,
talk about a Moogie. Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about Umugi because it's basically
Anytime we can bring
Or
up
a
a
hot
movie, we
villain.
do.
If we talk about a hot villain or a
Yep.
random villain, a
Yeah.
Moogie fits all those bills.
Well, actually, speaking of hot villain, we say Oma a lot, and we can't talk about this too much without giving away spoilers. But
No.
but this is in reference to Flower of Evil.
We can't even say who. We can't even say who it is.
Can I say the
can't e-
actor?
I don't think you
No.
can. I don't
Damn
think you can. No. I don't
Okay,
think you
so I
can.
can't even say the actor, but there's a character who basically, I'm just gonna say he wakes up. I'm just gonna say he wakes up, and he's like, "Oh ma," and like,
And he's a
it's
grown ass
just
man. And he's a grown ass man.
grown-ass man. It's like the first thing he says, and also what like happens afterward is batshit. I mean, Flower of Evil is great. I mean, batshit like in a good way. It's like a really good twisty plot. But the way he says Oma, like we will
Oma?
never be over it. We bring it up all the time. If we say Oma on the podcast, we probably then also say Oma because we have to. We have to. It's
It
almost like
gives the same
tick.
vibes of Dinosaurs, like the 1980s, 90s show.
I love when
and
you
that
bring
was-
this up, and I'm like, what the hell show even is this?
You still don't know. Is this?
Well,
yeah,
no, I looked it up after you guys talked about it last time, but I've never seen it.
So Dinosaurs, and in it is this dinosaur baby that has a very high voice, and he always goes, "Not the mama, not the mama,"
Yeah.
and that is the same tone that like "Oh ma" like
Mhm.
has. It's very
Oma?
just yeah.
And if you've seen it, obviously, if you've seen Flower of Evil, you know.
It's not
If
a
you
funny moment. It's not.
No,
meant
it's
to
not
be
funny. It's not funny, but it's funny to us.
Yeah.
If you have not seen Flower of Evil, it is one of my top dramas. Absolutely. I think all of us, like, we love Flower of Evil. And when you do see it and you see who the actor is who's doing this and like what it's a result of, it fits. Like this actor was made for this role.
Oh, he's great. I guess we can't say who it is.
No, we can't. Because that if there's one drama I promise to never spoil, it's Flower of Evil.
Yes, it's so good. So just go watch it, and then when you hear the Oma, you'll understand where we're coming from. So one thing that we mention a lot, we haven't mentioned it in a while. We should really find a way to sneak that in a new podcast. But this was actually brought up by several of our Patreon members, and that's Boner Alley. And this was coined, Leah came up with this. Like, this is Leah. Boner Alley is Leah. So Leah, tell us how you came up with Boner Alley. Because let me just also say, one Patreon member was like, I am so sad that my in real life friends do not know what Boner Alley is. Because she's like, I love Boner Alley.
I'm not going to give too many spoilers again. It's from
Right.
Reply 1988. And there's a scene where two of the youngsters, like, they got up to some like mischief making as young folk are warranted to do. And they're getting chased by like teachers and stuff. And they run, and two of them who are neighbors get stuck, like they get they like duck
They
into
hide.
an alley
Yeah.
and hide. And it's a very narrow alley. And they're standing face to face. So they're basically like pelvic to pelvic, and they're just like in each other's faces. And it's the beginning of like, when you've had a person that's been like raised almost as like your sibling, and you've lived on the same street forever, and you just kind of consider them to be like a doorknob or part of the furniture, like there's been no thing. And all of a sudden you become very aware that this is like a person, and you're in puberty, and you're both just like reacting. And they do it in a really subtle way, but basically one of the male identified character gets aroused in a classy, not obvious way.
Right. It's actually, it's subtle and well done.
And he's panicking.
Yeah,
Yep.
he doesn't want it to happen. I don't think he doesn't like consciously, he didn't like, obviously he's just like, oh shit, my body, something is happening. And he like looks up to the sky, like praying for deliverance,
Yeah, like thinking of like, the Summer Olympics scores for archery or something, anything to deliver him from the moment he's in.
Yeah.
So it's a very funny moment, and it's just, it got nicknamed Boner Alley because literally they're in an alley and there's a boner.
Yeah.
It's really original.
Oh, I love
But
it.
it stuck, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Okay, let's talk about E.T. Granny. Which
Which makes me mad.
you don't like ET Granny?
Do not like E.T.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that.
No. Talk about it. I'm mad at you both about the entire drama too. And I have to
Oh.
own all the shit for this drama.
Right, I know you do. Well, no, I'm not gonna give shit about the drama. So this is from My Mister. So the female lead in My Mister, played by IU, she has like this grandma that she loves, and she lives with her grandma, and her grandma is, disabled. Um, and at one point she puts her in a shopping cart and pushes it outside. She wants to like give her grandmother, she wants her grandmother to like see the night sky. Like she wants her to see the moon. So she puts her in a shopping cart and like bundles her in blankets. So she's like this like tiny little old woman in a shopping cart covered with blankets. And then like wheels her out so basically she can like point at the moon. And it just feels very ET. And we've called her ET Granny.
It's ET on the bike.
It is. Because she looks almost like ET because she's got the like whole like blanket, like, like the hood up for ET. And she's like, at the moon at night, or looking at the moon at night. And yeah, it's just kind of like a reference we make. Also, because ET Granny is like a little plot Muppetish. But we still love her. I did love ET Granny. Okay, I did. And actually, the Cloy Tunnel of Love. So that is we used to talk about this more, and actually our tunnel of love, we talk about this sometimes in reference to like how far a hero will go for his heroine. Because we have said, so in Tale the Nine-Tailed at one point, like I'm explaining to explain Tunnel of Love, but in Tale the Nine-Tailed, after there's a scene where, remember, he has to cross, he's in hell.
Hell knives.
He has to cross a bridge with knives flying at him. And at the time we were like, this is the new Tunnel of Love, because Tunnel of Love is from Crash Landing on You. And it is when Captain Ree crawls through a tunnel for 20 hours from North Korea to South Korea to save the love of his life. And we've talked about it a lot because he doesn't eat. He doesn't sleep.
He doesn't soil himself.
We guess he doesn't have bowel movements for 20 hours because he's Captain Ree. Captain Ree doesn't poop. I mean, there's no way.
He's not leaving nugs in the tunnel.
Because like there's only like the size of this tunnel, if you haven't seen Crash Landing on You, like it's just big enough for his body.
Yeah.
Like for him to like army crawl.
For 20 hours. And we love the Tunnel of Love so much. So after he crosses the Tunnel of Love, he's looking a little rough. He's got like, some artful cuts on his cheek.
An artful scratch, if you will.
Some artful scratches.
But he's not looking rough at all. Like
he's
that's
not.
The thing. He looks gorgeous.
And he's got his hair down. And we see him then in South Korea reuniting. And I actually went on Etsy and I ordered art prints from an artist who drew him after his Tunnel of Love. So we all have a copy. Mine's actually hanging like right in front of me. I can like look at it right now. I keep it on my wall. So we all have the same art print, and it's like basically we call it the Tunnel of Love, Cloy, like Crash Landing on You art print, because that's what it is. It's his post Tunnel of Love.
Mine is usually right here, but I move him when I have meetings for work.
So people are like, what is
I
that,
don't feel
man?
like, why do you have like right above your head
with the artful scratches on his face?
The artful scratches, because it's like Captain Ree, and then it's like my Iminho and Gong Yu calendars like on either side, and I'm like, I cannot explain this to people, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I moved those for meetings. So I had a lot of meetings today, so I didn't put them back yet.
So sometimes if we say like that's the new Tunnel of Love, it's like it's like a crazy thing that a hero has done to like get back to his woman,
like,
or his man.
The best romantic gesture ever is a Tunnel of Love level gesture.
Yeah, it's got to be 20 hours. It's got to be crossing a bridge with flying hell knives. It's got to be serious to be Tunnel of Love level.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Soul Backpack here a minute. Soul Backpack,
one of my favorite dramas.
Soul Backpack is from Alchemy of Souls. I don't even know if I can. I don't think I can give a summary of what it is.
Okay, I think I can.
Okay,
so in Alchemy of Souls, there's soul swapping. Like that's what the drama is about. And there's a question of someone's lineage. Like, I won't give any spoilers, but there's a question of a character's paternity because he was conceived with his father's body, but not his father's soul in the body.
Right.
Right?
It was someone
So our
else's soul in his father's body.
So
Or-
our question was, whose son really is this character?
Is it the
Is
bodies
this
or the
character
souls?
right? Is it the bodies or the souls? And so then that got us into a discussion about like, well, does the sperm carry a little soul backpack? Like, is it in the sperm? Like, what? Yeah. Like, so whose child is that character? I don't want to give any spoilers. And I don't think we have the answer.
No, but
that
we
was
did end
that
up
was an
going to like
explanation.
we did end up going to Neil and Nick, Meg and I's husbands, to also unpack this.
So there we interview them, each of them. So Leah interviewed Nick and I interviewed Neil, and it's at the very end of the episode.
It's like a surprise track at the end of
it is. It's like a secret song.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's like a Green Day little secret song. If you listen to the Alchemy of Souls episode, you can hear the interviews at the end. And one thing we also did that was very fun, and we should do this more often.
Yeah.
We had people submit drawings of sperm with backpacks. Remember?
Yeah.
And the artwork was so funny. I mean, we were cracking up. There were so many funny little sperm drawings with their little backpacks. It was probably one of the best things we did, and we really should do that again. Because but they're in like a discussion like the soul backpack is like one of a kind.
And I mean, it's still up for discussion. Like, what do you all think? If you've seen Alchemy of Souls, like, tell us what you think. Is it the soul or the body that makes the child?
Right. Leah, why don't you talk about the origin of toe socks? Because we bring this up a lot.
Okay.
And it's mostly you. I mean, I subscribe to this, but it was definitely like you led the charge on this.
Yes, but I do believe I want to set the record. Like, okay. I'm going to, set the record straight a bit too. So, Toe Socks comes from Lawless Lawyer. And in it, there is an older gangster who, Anoju.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not meant to be a baddie. Like, he's meant to be a bad guy, but he's not meant to be a baddie, as the kids say. Like, you're not meant to be like lusty for him.
Oh,
No.
Right.
And yet, how could you not be?
Yeah.
Like, he has Riz for days.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one of those things where I'm like watching it and I'm like, oh, this is meant to be like a bad man. And we're meant to be like, ooh, like maybe he's got like some charisma, but like, boo him. And I start to be like, this guy can get it. And he can get it in all the ways that can be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where he takes his shoe off and
In
at
his
first-
office, right?
Yeah. And
Mhm.
at first it's like, just, is there something wrong with his geometry, his personal geometry? Because his foot is blue.
Mhm.
And then you realize he's in toe socks. And there's something, and he's like playing with his toe socks too.
Yeah.
Like he's not, like he's on the phone, like talking, doing his baddie thing. And he's just kind of like flicking around on his toes a bit.
Sounds terrible, but it's fantastic.
And it's really hot.
It is. I hate it.
And it made me be like, it elevated, because I was already like, ooh, like he's hot in like a dirty way.
Yeah.
And then to see the toe socks thing, I was like, you know what? I would get in there with like some gold lame, like hot pants, and just be like his bad little baby. And I could like pull those toe socks off like one by one with my teeth, like take my time with it, like really, be like the gangsters, toy in a very specific, very dirty Omega sense.
Oh my God, Leah.
This is where the Amy button comes in.
This is where the Amy-
I trust
Because
you
it's a 2/3 majority, so I'm outvoted here.
But because of the fact I'm so dirty for this, it's kind of created the sense that I just am dirty for feet in general. And I'm not I do not have foot problems. Like I can watch people in sandals and not have like a visceral reaction. but I'm going to
I
say
do.
I don't have like an
Yeah.
absolute toe kink.
Megan and
in
I hate
general.
sandals on men.
Yeah. So I do not hate sandals, men in sandals. I quite like men in sandals, but I'm not like, I don't want to just see any male foot or female foot and just like get it all in my mouth. But there's
Yeah.
something about Ano Jew
I-
in particular.
Right. And I feel like when we bring up the toe socks, it's not about the toe socks.
No,
We bring
it's
up
not.
toe socks in a way, meaning it is about the larger idea that like, this is a character that like we're not supposed to like feel attraction for, and like the toe socks should be a turnoff, and yet they're not.
So it is about the toe socks, actually.
Okay. It's about the toe
Because
socks, but it's
because
also not.
it's like one of those things that's jarring because there's nothing about it that should be attractive, and
Yeah.
yet it makes it go from like 7 out of 5, like, ooh, this is a little naughty attraction, to like 10 out of 10, like I will get that lint on my tongue.
For you.
Oh my God.
I'm button pressed after lint on tongue.
I will get out the antifungal and apply it.
Okay. Okay. Can I talk about Kim Finn?
Yes, let's talk about Kim Finn.
So what's really funny is, so Kim Finn got brought up in our Patreon today, and we all knew what Kim Finn was, but we could not remember the origin of Kim Finn. So thank you for the search feature in Patreon, because I found the initial post. So Kim Finn came about when we were doing Afternoona Uncensored September of 2023.
Okay.
And we just put out a general call to action, like, what do you want us to talk about? Like, we had no direction, nothing. And so when we used to do those, because we haven't done one in a while, we had a lot of listeners who would like to give us like a this or that, or a Mary Mate murder, like something like that. And so I'm going to give like props to a patron by name here, because this has like lived in infamy ever since. So this is Emma on our Patreon, and she threw out a this or that. But so this is also after Megan had talked about reading the book Shark Heart. So there is a path.
You're right.
To this.
There's always a path. There's
a path to this. So you have to know, but like Megan talked about reading Shark Heart, and it's about a man who slowly turns into a shark. Okay. Yeah. So Emma says, I have a great fish or that. Sorry, this or that for you. Would you rather be in a happy and loving relationship with your favorite K-drama actor, but for 1 week of every month he turns into a shark? Or would you rather see your favorite K-drama rewritten and turned into a shark shifter romance? And then in parentheses, Amy, Kim Finn, perhaps? And I don't know what set Megan and I off, but then we started talking about, so Kim Finn would be Kim Shin from Goblin. And if you don't know Goblin, in Goblin, Kim Shin's character is a 900 and something year old goblin who lives with an invisible sword in his chest. And the only way that he can die and finally go to lay to rest is if the goblin's bride comes along and pulls this invisible sword out. So that's like the sort of crux of the goblin lore. And then Megan and I started talking about Kim Finn would be a shark and he'd have an invisible harpoon.
The harpoon!
You guys were dying.
The harpoon is what gets me every single time. It's the
I don't
harpoon.
know why. Like, I'm not usually one of the ones who goes off the rails. And like that one sent me.
You were crying.
Like, so hard.
You were crying. And so we talked about it, on a podcast. And if you go on our Instagram and like look back through, we do have a reel that kind of like is the when we're like losing it, and we really get into it. So if you want to go back through our reels on Instagram and look for it,
September 2023.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to repost it as well when this episode comes out. Because I listened to that reel. If I need to smile, I will go back and listen to that reel. That is how funny I think it is. And it still makes me laugh and it still makes me smile. So sometimes we just still slip in Kim Finn. It's just, we love it so much.
It's so funny. It's just, imagine Goblin as a shark with a harpoon.
Yeah.
It's joyful.
Oh, it's so great. So one thing that has come up a lot, especially like the last year, is when we say that a show has gone to Argon. So going to Argon is something that happened in When the Phone Rings. It was a show that we all were really liking, and then both characters. I'm not really. I don't know if I'm. I guess I'm sort of spoiling it, but something happens where characters go to a fictional country called Argon, and that is when not to bring up Kim Finn, but that is kind of when the show jumped the shark for like all three of us. It's just kind of goes off the rails. So sometimes
it's
if
the
they're
last episode. It's the last
it is
episode.
the last episode. Okay,
Yes.
so
I think, isn't it?
no, I think you're right. So if we think a show has gone completely, or they throw in a plot twist that is just like crazy, like it doesn't make sense, or it's just wild, we say, okay, this K-drama went to Argon. So that's
it's our jump the shark, basically.
It's our jump the shark. It's basically our K-drama version of jumping the shark.
And it's often something that'll come up, like if somebody has watched a drama like completely that I haven't watched yet, and I may ask, like, does it stick the landing at the end, or does it go to Argon?
Yeah.
Like I want to know ahead of time if something goes, because I'm not going to watch it if it goes to Argon.
Yeah, let us know if it goes to Argon, because just give us a heads up, then we know. One thing we bring up a lot of times is sad showers. So K-dramas are kind of notorious for having, especially the male leads, take really sad showers. And it's probably a favorite like micro trope of mine, which we discussed recently. The first sad shower that we talked about on the podcast was An Bo-hyun in Her Private Life. He takes a really sad shower where they zoom in for no real reason whatsoever on the water, like dripping from his like muscled pectorals. I mean, it's almost out of place.
I mean, there's a reason. There's a
reason, but he's not the male lead. That's the funniest part about this is they're like,
not.
we're gonna give you a thirst trap because An Bo-hyun was willing to take off his shirt. So here you go. Here you go. They're like, we're throwing you a bone, even though he's sad right now.
He's sad, and it's a great shower. Like it's worth the time. But we always kind of like contrast that with the worst sad shower scene, which is in My Love from the Star,
right?
Where
it's ludicrous.
It's a shower scene, and it's supposed to be like a sad shower scene, but he's wearing a towel while he's showering, so the towel is soaking wet. He's wearing a soaking wet towel in like it's. If you're gonna go that route, just put him in a pair of swim trunks. That would look less ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good sad shower.
Yeah, he's just showering away wearing a bath towel.
So one thing we haven't talked about in a while and deserves, I think, to be talked about, mainly because this also is a Patreon tier. So if you go to our Patreon tier, Big Drone Energy is a tier. And I think this was definitely Leah, I think, the Big Drone Energy.
Oh, it's one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's from When the Camellia Blooms, where we have a younger kind of like earnest golden retriever type of like small town cop who has a full trope of like love at first sight to this like older kind of like wounded, slightly mysterious single mom that comes to town. And she has her guard up, she has her walls up, she runs a bar, and he is completely besotted with her, and she really is like, kind of charmed by his goofiness, but is also just like, you're at a distance. But she's a single mom, and she gets shit in the town for being a single mom, and it's hard. And so her kid is they're at a baseball game, and the ref is making like bad calls again, or it's the coach maybe on the opposite team. Basically, her son is being like demeaned, and he doesn't have a male role model to help him. And you can see the moms in the stands just kind of not sure what to do given the dynamics of the sport. And at that moment, like a white knight golden retriever, Kang Han-woo comes striding out onto the green. He's got like aviators on, and he's holding a drone because he's been recording the game from a drone. And he's got like all the proof that needs done that like this was a bad call, and like he puts it right, and he's like chewing people out. And so he basically shows up, and for like the first time this woman has had somebody's taking all the labor, and like she's not having to like do the labor. And like he's shown up and he is like being full alpha with the fanny pack, but basically he's handling the business, relieving her of the labor. And then the baby daddy, who is actually a well-known baseball player, is in the stands. He's not saying anything because he wants to like hide the fact that like he's the dad still, even though he's coming to watch his son. So you see this other guy kind of like, it's his big save the cat moment, basically, where he shows up. He's gonna be the one in charge and take it for put it right. Big drone energy. He just comes out full swag.
Yes, he has big drone energy, and that's he's played by Kang Ha-neul, which also shout out to Leah. She has compared his mouth to a Pez dispenser. Patreon also really loves that. They love when you talk about Kang Ha-neul's big mouth.
His mouth is huge.
His mouth is. He has like more teeth than the rest of us,
and it's hot.
It is.
Yeah.
Subway sandwich,
okay,
I think is a good
go.
one. So this is going back to Goblin. And we've said this more than once throughout the years too. This has come up in kind of like, talking about save the cat moments that are kind of silly. And early on in Goblin, before Kim Shin ever meets Untak, who is the Goblin bride, we see Kim Shin like throughout the years helping different people. And we see that he is a good goblin who, just kind of wants, he claims that he stays out of the lives of humans, but we do see him intervene when necessary, like when a kid's getting abused at home. Then we have a man who is about to take his own life. And this is also before we really knew a lot about product placement, because Goblin was my second drama. I'm pretty sure it was Crash Landing on You and then Goblin. And there is a scene where a man is about to take his own life and Kim Shin gives him a Subway sandwich. And so now whenever that comes up, we talk about saving lives one $5 footlong at a time.
And the way that it did not faze me the first time.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. I didn't even have like a single question, because I think everything we've talked about how it was all so new that it was like, okay, sure. And then it was only later that it was like, what the
Yeah, same. I didn't blink twice. I was like, okay, a sub, sure. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
I think it really took Tail the Nine-Tail to break us out of all of our molds. Like break us out of the mold of like being careful what we say, to break us out of the mold of like not questioning things that we saw, because we questioned so much in Tail the Nine-Tailed.
Yes, right.
did.
And I love it for that.
I think that's why Tail the Nine-Tailed is so special. It will always be special to me, and it's part of what it did to like our pod. And
yes,
it's also just like, again, they gave us so many references that I don't even realize we talk about those as much as but we do. We bring up Intern Mugi all the time.
I think Tail the Nine-Tailed
not one of my top dramas either, but I love it.
Yes,
no, but I think it's our origin story. Like if you really want to get into the lore, Tail the Nine-Tailed is our origin story as like who we are on this podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting too, because before that too, we just kind of did like summaries. And then for Tail the Nine-Tailed, we did not know how to do a summary. Like there's just no way. So we did 9. I think it was like 9
things. Our top 9 things about Tail the Nine-Tailed or something.
Yeah, and then also like 9 like WTFs, and we could have done another 9. Like it was mostly WTFs. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I want to go back and listen to that podcast sometime and just see how we sounded
too. It's like 90 minutes, I think.
Oh my god, we were so long-winded. We've been trying to be better. Okay, so are there any burning last minute lore that you'd like to bring up? I'm sure we can do another one of these, because I'm sure there's going to be more lore coming.
Yeah, these are good.
No, this feels great.
Okay, this was good. This was a lot of fun. We had talked about doing this amongst ourselves, and we did ask some of our listeners, and they were like, yeah, I think that would be really fun. Someone on Patreon was like, I could listen to you talk about these things for 5 hours. So it's not 5 hours, but we hope that this was long enough. If we missed something, like shout it out like in the comments and let us know. Because I know we did. There's plenty of things that we talk about, but We hope you liked it. And here's to creating a lot more lore in the years to come.
Love it.
We're here.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
안녕.
안녕.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!